What's cooking, everyone? Back when I was in Taiwan, surrounded by amazing food, my most eaten dish was actually the oyster pancake, also known as oyster omelette. Sounds a little bit weird at first, but trust me, it is definitely worth a try. I'm going to show you guys how to make this night market quality with the amazing traditional chili sauce that goes on top. Let's get started. Let's start it off with our homemade ball-bay chili sauce. I like the mix of both of these, but at least make sure you have a sweet chili sauce for the base. Soy paste can be replaced with soy sauce in this recipe, but not always. Miso paste, optional, but adds a desirable salty umami flavor. Let's create our chili concoction. Equal parts of our two different types of chili sauce, around 6 ounces each. 1.5 tablespoons of good old-fashioned ketchup. A touch of soy paste for a bit of saltiness and color. Final touch with a tablespoon of miso. Strain it out to avoid those gritty bits ruining the smooth consistency of our sauce. Good proper mixing to make sure that all the ingredients are infused together. There we go, onto the stove. To get that rich and thick consistency, we're gonna put 1.5 cups of water in a pan. And a bit less than 1/4 cup of glutinous rice flour. Slowly cook this over a low heat, making sure to stir constantly. Glutinous rice flour is very quick to burn, so don't dare take your eyes off it. Once it thickens and starts to bubble, throw in 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. Cook for a couple minutes to make sure that it fully dissolves. In goes our fantastic mix of sauces. Just keep on stirring. Keep on stirring. Still maintaining that low heat, continue to cook this right up until the point where it starts to boil, then you're done. Quick little taste test. Delicious. You can keep this in the fridge for up to 2 weeks, and it can be served hot or cold if you want. Just heat it up again if you need. Now to the fun part. Ball-bay, night market, oyster pancakes. Using both corn and sweet potato starch will give you a chewy and crispy texture, respectively. Here we have some Taiwanese A-Choy and can be substituted for Taiwanese Bok Choy or even Romaine Lettuce, something with a crunch. Some lovely cilantro used as garnish, as little or as much as you want. Prep stage, begin. When using cilantro as a topping, cut the stems very finely to avoid that toughness. The leaves can be a bit more coarse. For the greens, chop the roots, then cut into roughly 1.5 inch size pieces. Just a handful or about 1 stalk per pancake. Time for some chicken babies. I find that using 1.5 eggs for each pancake is the magic number. 2:1 starch ratio with 100 grams of sweet potato and 50 grams of corn. 1.5 cups of water. You'll have to restir this every time before you make a pancake. This will equal 3 servings. Here comes our star ingredient. We'll have to treat the oysters real quick by letting them cook at the same time with the water. This will remove unwanted flavor and ensure the oysters keep tender. Occasionally stir them and cook right up until the point where it starts to boil. Anything after that and you have yourself some unpleasant overcooked oysters. Quick rinse with cold water. In organized cooking fashion, oysters, then starch, followed by our eggs, finished off with the greens. Let's get cooking. Get your pan nice and hot and pour in a generous amount of oil, evenly coated. Medium-low heat, throw in the oysters, a definite oil splash warning here. Spread evenly and cook for half a minute. Always be sure to mix the starch again before using. Heat up to a medium and then throw in 1/2 cup of our mixture. Swirl the starch in between all the nooks and crannies, then leave to cook for a couple minutes. At this point, it'll lose some of the stickiness and be a lot easier to handle. Tap around the edges and make sure everything is nice and loose. We'll need to do some occasional stirs to make sure that it cooks evenly and doesn't burn. About 2 minutes later, drizzle on our egg and move it around to keep everything uniform. Greens go in right after, spacing them out evenly. And just let this cook for another 2 minutes. Don't forget that critical stir every now and then. I would hate to see all our hard work burn away. Stick the spatula underneath to guide the pancake and flip. Perfect. Let this side cook on a medium-low heat for about 3 to 5 minutes until our vegetables are cooked. Gorgeous, crispy golden brown color with our delicate egg just shining through. Superb. Our oyster pancake masterpiece. Just look at that. Ooh. So delicious. Look at that gooiness. All right, let's get it. Seriously gives off a one-of-a-kind QQ texture, which is a Chinese word for somewhere in between chewy and tender, and it definitely just hits all the right notes there. Love the heavy texture of these oysters, and they're just cooked right. This is why it's very important to cook the oysters from the beginning instead of just throwing them into boiling water. That way they cook slowly and avoid that kind of distasteful rubberiness. The savoriness of the omelet, in addition to the sweet and spicy flavor that the chili sauce gives off, is just a very unique combination. Definitely worth a try no matter how weird it might sound at first. And this is actually a very iconic Taiwanese chili sauce used in a lot of different night market dishes. So feel free to put this on your fish balls, dumplings, even fried chicken, anything that you please. It really does add a tangy, sweet, spicy flavor to almost any dish you want. I hope you guys love this recipe. Please feel free to support me by subscribing and sharing my video around so I can continue to make amazing recipes for you guys. A lot of great dishes on the way, new videos every week. Thanks for watching.